That kind of sort of exotic little piece there gets that sound from making use of the Phrygian mode. And I use an extra special trick at the end there that's a modification of the mode, but we'll come back to that. First, today we're going to take an in-depth look at the Phrygian mode, which you can hear in some famous songs like Wherever I May Roam by Metallica, Wood by Alice in Chains, and the chorus to Deep Purple's iconic Smoke on the Water. It's the kind of mode you generally hear in some heavier music, but you can certainly use it anywhere in any style, and it's really great anytime you want to add sort of a spicy flavor to any one of your songs. Before I continue, I want to mention that this is sort of like my more varsity advanced lesson on the modes. I like my students first to go through a series of learning the modes that's very quick and easy and works off pattern recognition. So if you haven't done that or you're not real familiar with your way around the neck using the modes yet, you might want to check that out. I'll link that over here, and then you can come back and we'll dive in deep here into Phrygian. When we talk about modes, we're trying to get their unique character out of them and get that sound into the music that we're creating. And that really comes in two different ways. The first is that you get the sound of the mode not from knowing the scale pattern itself, but using the mode to create background music in your chord progressions, and that really is where the feel of the song comes from, not the scale pattern. The second thing is that it's real good to compare it to its closest counterpart, whether that be the major scale or the basic minor scale, so that you can see what the very little difference is that really gives it its character, and you can hone in on that and really kind of lean into it so that you get a real feel for the mode. So we're going to do that first, and then come back into the part of it that's based on the chord progressions. When looking at the Phrygian mode, we see that it's only one note different than the basic minor scale, and we're going to continue working in the relative major of G major, so we're in B Phrygian, and we're going to compare it to B minor. You have a B minor, you have your basic B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and then B. It goes a whole step, a half step, a whole step, another whole step, half step, whole step, and then whole step back to the octave. When we're working with Phrygian, one of those notes changes, and it is the second degree of the scale becomes flat, so you have a flat 2. So you have a B, a C, a D, and then everything else is the same. That half step there is very much what gives Phrygian its character. And if you play it all the way through using the 3 notes per string method, you end up with this. Now, when I'm playing the Phrygian mode, I like to kind of stay in the box, so instead of always strictly sticking to the 3 notes per string, I end up kind of going almost into a pentatonic thing here when I get up to the D string, and then I stay here. It's a nice convenient way to play the Phrygian mode and be able to really drive home that half step point, because I have it here, here. So a mix of the 3 note per string and playing in that kind of pentatonic box thinking way works really well in this mode. The other reason I like to stick in that position is the thing I talked about in the beginning, that extra spicy little trick with the Phrygian mode where you alter one of the notes, and it looks like this. When I'm up at the top here, on the first string, you have the B, C, D. I like to replace the D with the D sharp sometimes. And it has a very Middle Eastern kind of quality to it, and it will work pretty well even if you're playing in the basic Phrygian or over whatever relative major or minor is in the key, as long as you're not just sitting on the note and you're passing through it. And it's also here, which if you're theory savvy, you'll realize is the harmonic minor in the key that we're in. And what I'm doing here, just for those who want to get technical on it, is called altered Phrygian dominant, but it's something that I definitely like to use. Now, all of this works assuming you're doing it over the right piece of music, otherwise it's not going to sound very Phrygian anyway, and that brings us back to the discussion on the first point, which was the chord progressions. If you're going to write a piece of music and you want the Phrygian sound, you're going to have to write chord progressions that center on the Phrygian mode of the key that you're in. So basic 1-4-5 is not going to do it because the Phrygian is the 3rd degree of the scale. So when you write a chord progression, again, if we're in G major here, we're writing something that starts on the 3 and we're building off of the 3. So maybe I have a B minor, C major, G major, A minor, something like that, where the entire piece of music centers around the B, which in the intro song I had done way back at the beginning there is why I used a 7-string guitar, because I had that low B string to work off of, and that really makes for a cool Phrygian sound. So to quickly recap, Phrygian is just basically the minor scale with the 2nd degree flattened. It is a minor mode because the third of it is a minor third, creating a minor chord. And all you need to do is write chords that center on that part of the mode, chord progressions that start on 3, resolve back to the 3, and you've got yourself a Phrygian song. So if you have any questions or comments, you need anything clarified further, please leave them below. I get back to everybody as soon as I can. I hope this all made sense to you, and it helps you along your own journey, and maybe you can start writing some cool exotic Phrygian music yourself. If you do, share it with me. I always want to hear what you guys are up to. And until next time, keep making great music. Hey friends, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. It makes the whole world better.